Late one autumn evening, under the pale glow of a waning moon, Hunter Biden sat in his dimly lit study. The fireplace crackled softly, but its warmth did little to ease the growing unease in his chest as he examined the peculiar letter in his hands. The letter was yellowed with age, the ink slightly faded but legible. It bore the name of an attorney long forgotten, tied to his late mother, Neilia Hunter Biden. The contents were cryptic. The estate known as Blackwood Manor now falls to you, Hunter. Neilia wished for it to remain untouched, but the deed requires a descendant's presence to be finalized. Come at once. Time is short. The letter was unsettling in its vagueness. Hunter couldn't recall his mother ever mentioning a property by that name. A quick internet search yielded almost no information about Blackwood Manor, other than vague mentions of its location deep in Delaware's dense forests. Driven by curiosity and a desire to reconnect with his mother's legacy, Hunter decided to visit. As he packed a small bag for the journey, Hunter couldn't shake the feeling that this mysterious would lead him down a path he might not be prepared for. With a deep breath, he stepped out of his study, leaving behind the drive to the manor was harrowing. The road twisted through a forest thick with ancient trees, their gnarled branches forming skeletal arches overhead. A heavy mist clung to the ground, muffling the sounds of the world and creating an eerie silence. When Hunter and his two companions, Sarah, a close friend, and David, a skeptical yet loyal colleague, finally reached the iron gates of Blackwood Manor, they were struck by its ominous beauty. The mansion loomed like a dark titan, its sharp spires piercing the gray sky. The windows, black and empty, seemed like unblinking eyes watching their every move. As they pushed open the gates, the rusted metal screeched like a dying animal. A crow cawed overhead, its sound cutting through the silence like a warning. Inside, the manor was a relic of forgotten times. Dust blanketed everything, and cobwebs hung like spectral veils from the chandeliers. The air smelled of mildew and something faintly metallic, like blood. The trio decided to split up to explore. Hunter took the library, Sarah the kitchen, and David the parlor. In the library, Hunter discovered a peculiar journal on the desk, bound in cracked leather. It was inscribed with his mother's name. As he opened it, the pages turned on their own, settling on a passage that read, "Blackwood Manor is not a home. It is a prison for the damned. If you are here, leave immediately, or you will join the shadows within." At that moment, the room grew icy. The fireplace, which had been burning brightly, extinguished in an instant, leaving Hunter in total darkness. Then, faint whispers began, soft at first, then louder, until they crescendoed into an ear-piercing scream. Meanwhile, Sarah and David had their own chilling encounters. Sarah opened the kitchen pantry to find it inexplicably filled with rotting food, swarming with flies. As she backed away, a shadow passed behind her. Though no one was there, David, in the parlor, noticed the piano playing a mournful tune on its own. As he approached, the music stopped abruptly, and the lid slammed shut with enough force to send a gust of air toward him. Regrouping in the grand hall, the trio decided to search for the attic Neilia had mentioned in her journal. They found a hidden door behind a faded tapestry, its frame carved with strange symbols. The attic was a chamber of horrors. Relics from different eras were scattered about. Dolls with cracked faces, mirrors that reflected twisted versions of reality, and photographs of people who seemed to be screaming in terror. Among the relics was a peculiar mirror, larger than the others, with an ornate frame that seemed to pulsate with a dark energy. Hunter couldn't resist looking into it. What he saw wasn't his reflection, but a horrifying vision. Himself clawing at the walls of a pitch-black room, screaming for help. As they tried to leave the attic, the house seemed to come alive. Doors slammed shut on their own. Furniture was hurled across rooms by invisible forces, and the walls groaned as if the building itself were in pain. In the grand hall, the chandelier crashed to the floor, narrowly missing Sarah. From the shadows emerged figures, humanoid, but their faces were hollow voids. They whispered in a language none of them could understand, their voices echoing like a chorus of despair. David tried to run, but the front door vanished before his eyes, replaced by a solid wall. Panicking, he screamed, only for the shadows to engulf him. His cries faded, leaving only silence. Hunter and Sarah retreated to the library, barricading the door behind them. It was there that they found another journal entry detailing the true nature of Blackwood Manor. The house was a nexus, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was thinnest. It was bound to a demon, an ancient entity that fed on the souls of those who entered.
Hunter, my son, you must destroy the mirror. It is the heart of the demon. But beware, it will not let you leave alive.
Determined to end the nightmare, Hunter and Sarah returned to the attic. The mirror pulsed with an intense, malevolent energy, and as they approached, the demon manifested.
You cannot destroy me, I am eternal. Your mother tried and failed. Now it's your turn to join her.
Sarah threw a bottle of kerosene onto the mirror while Hunter lit a match. The demon lunged at them. The demon lunged at them. But they managed to ignite the mirror. As it burned, the demon let out an unearthly scream, and the house began to collapse. Hunter and Sarah barely escaped the burning mansion. As they stood among the ruins, Sarah noticed something in the ashes. A locket that had belonged to Neilia. Hunter picked it up, only to hear a faint whisper. "It's not over." The camera pans out to reveal the mansion's ruins glowing faintly in the moonlight as shadows begin to coalesce into a new form, hinting that the nightmare is far from over.